All right, so here I am in After Effects and I have just the footage I put in. So this is the logo that I want to do that cool effect on, and it's literally just a shot of me like going in and out just like this. So first thing we actually want to do is duplicate, first of all, this layer. So Control D, bam, and we're going to rename it to stay organized to masked, I don't know, mask logo. And then this one did it by itself, but it's going to be named base layer. I don't know why I did it by itself. And then first thing we want to do too is go up to where we want the animation to begin. So I'm just going to put it right here, like about a second in right here. So I'm going to drag all of this in, and then I want it to end somewhere around like another second or so. So there we go. So on my duplicated layer, I just dragged the time length that I wanted to do the animation. And then what we're going to do when we have the duplicated layer is we're going to go up to the top and we're going to go to the pen tool, click the pen tool, and we're going to mask out the logo. If you have a logo that's not letters, like let's say I had like just a logo that was like a circle, then I would mask out just the circle. But because this is so complicated, like it's in letters, obviously, I have to mask out the entire sort of vicinity of it. So now if we turned off my bottom base layer, we can see that it's literally just the logo, but let's put the base layer back on. And then we're going to go to the video and we're going to click M to bring up the mask. And we're just going to actually click this mask path right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that every frame we go by, the mask doesn't go out of the logo. So you can see right there, we have to fix that. So that's what we're going to do now. So I'm just going to move one frame down by clicking page down on the keyboard. So now I'm just going to make sure, click page down and make sure that every key frame has the logo in it. I'm going to do a really rough edit because just for the sake of this video, you can zoom out and in, and then just making sure. This is pretty important though, so make sure you kind of take your time with it if you have to. But just because this is a tutorial, whatever. So there we go. Now I have what the masked out keyframe is going to look like. So as you can see, the box does not leave the logo one time, or it doesn't go into some other area that it shouldn't be in. So now we're going to go over here to the left. We're going to click this mode. If you don't have this sort of layout, it's probably because you're in this mode, which means you just got to go down here to the bottom and click toggle the switch, and then it'll show you what I have. So what we're going to do is just click mode and click subtract. There we go. So now that's subtracting the logo, the masked out version. So it's just a black box now. And the next thing we want to do is this base layer down here. We don't want there to be a clip underneath it. So we're just going to Control Shift D to cut it, and Control Shift D at the end, and then click this middle layer and just get rid of it. So now we have the beginning of the video still, and we have the end, but then the middle is just the masked out version. And like I said, it is in subtract mode as well. And what we're going to do is go down to window, and then click Content Aware Filled, and that's going to bring up this window right here. So while we have this masked out logo, we're going to go to here, we're going to click Edge Blend, Work Area, and then just generate the fill layer. For some reason, that wasn't working, even though that's how I did it on my last one. So if that works for you, great. When you click Generate Fill Layer, it generates. If it doesn't, just go down here, and where it says, instead of subtracting the mode on the video, subtract the mask. Which isn't how I did it the first time, but I guess it worked. So just click one of these, just click both subtract. So now, as you can see, we still have the beginning video. And then where the animation is going to begin, we have this fill layer. They got rid of that blackness, and it kind of used its surrounding to try to generate this sort of gray orange color. Now, as you can see, it's kind of glitched a little. There's like some black outline. Yours might not look like that. Mine does though. So to fix that, I went into my masked logo and I actually just feathered it out a little bit. So that's why now you can see sort of the black starts to fade into the video. And then I click Generate AI again. So now my top layer is the feathered out a sort of fill, and then the bottom is the other rectangle of it. So now you can see it actually looks a lot better. You actually almost can't even see it at all. So far, here's what we have, guys. We have the beginning of the video, and then we have this masked out sort of box, and then it'll come back in. And now what we're going to do is I'm actually going to drag in the logo. So this logo right here, This DJ logo, I have it. So I'm actually going to drag it in and I'm going to shrink it down and hold down shift so that it scales both as kind of one unit. I'm going to click R over here and then just rotate it so that it gets as close as perfect. And dang, that was pretty perfect for like the first shot of scaling and rotation. So boom, that's as good as it's going to get, honestly. I forgot something though, that you're supposed to do that at the beginning of where your animation starts. So I need to hide everything except for the base layer. So I'm just going to drag it over one frame, turn on my logo. There we go. And then get rid of the beginning bit here and just rotate it. And hold down Control if you want to rotate things a lot slower or just scale things up a lot slower. So now it doesn't show up in the beginning. And now what I can do is bring this back to where it was at the beginning and then turn everything back on again. So there we go. So now we have the video, and as soon as where I want the animation to begin, it pops in. So now is the fun part, guys. Okay, that was kind of the tedious, somewhat hard part, and now it gets kind of easy, and now it's kind of straightforward. So all we want to do is keyframe this logo at the beginning. So we want the rotation. We actually want to make it a 3D layer as well. So toggle switches in mode, and then click this 3D cube right here. So that way we get all this rotation. We want to click P for position, and we want to click S for scale. So if we click U, it'll pop up all of our keyframes you just made. So we have everything here. And then we also want to go to the end right here, and we want to put it in this orientation and line it up with the end keyframe as well. There we go. So now the beginning is where it has to be, and the end is where it has to be. Now the middle is where we want the cool animations to be. So I went down here just in the middle. It doesn't have to be perfect, just wherever. And to make it look like it's going to go towards us, we're going to actually scale it up. So as you can see, it looks like it comes flying towards us. And because we have the time these stopwatches selected, any effect we do is going to be automatically put as a keyframe. So we don't even have to click keyframe. It's just going to do it. We can start rotating it. So this is where you can do whatever you want. Just rotate how your image. I want mine to like come up straight. So I just scaled it up so it looks big, and then I rotated it so it looks kind of somewhat straight. And if you wanted to do like a flip or something, literally just rotate one of your rotations. So let's just do this one. There we go. So now it just changed from 0, and now it's at 11 rotation. And as you can see, if we play it back, it rotates in while still straightening it out and scaling. It's pretty cool stuff, eh? And then towards the end, it'll just, oh, well, that did that because we forgot to put a keyframe for these three down here. As you can see, there's not a keyframe down here. So it didn't save. So I'm just going to have to fix that quickly. So make sure, guys, to fix your rotations. All I have to do is rotate it just like that. There we go. So yeah. So now it flips in, and then it's going to flip or do whatever down here. If you want it to flip, then you can just go back to one of your rotations and have it do like a flip or whatever you want it to do. That way, when it spins back, it'll flip. So whatever, sure. Just for the sake of this video, we'll keep it like that. Okay, boom. And then at the very end, we're going to cut this last bit off so that it goes back to like the video logo. And honestly, guys, that's like the gist of it. There's a few more things we're going to do, additional details. But that's if you want to be perfect. But now you guys basically know how to do it. And that was it. Okay, all we did was mask out and Gen AI the background and then have like a flipping logo. Everything's moving at one speed and it looks kind of weird. So we're going to select the front keyframes, right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease out. Go to the end, same thing, but click easy ease in. And in the middle, we're actually going to select, put keyframes down here in case we ever do change them. And we're just going to click easy ease. So now when we play it, as you can see, it's a lot more like smoother. Like it kind of speeds up and slows down and stuff. So it just looks way better. And then if you want, you could always start playing around with your graph. I know this looks kind of confusing, but you can start playing around with your speeds of things to see how fast. So like if I wanted to start off slow and then go really fast, check this out. So right here, it's going to start off slow and then go really fast. See? So not the best looking thing though. Okay, so perfect. Now one thing we also see is that when we look at this, because there's like the smoke and the light, this logo looks kind of yellowish, even though it's actually white. Because of the lighting issue in real life, it's like yellow, and then our logo is yellow though. So we could, go into Photoshop and just have the logo be the color. Or if we don't want to do that, what we can actually do is go to effects. Where's effects? There we go. Effects. Click tint. And we're going to drag it over the logo. And now what we're going to do is move back just one frame to where our real life logo looks like. I'm going to click map white to this color. Now it just so happens that my logo beforehand was white. So it's basically telling the photo that anything that is white, make it this color instead now. Okay, so now as you can see, it literally from my real life to my fake logo, they are the exact same colors. Now here's one thing though. At the front, I can barely see it because, the yellow lighting, like I can barely read this. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to keyframe this. So I'm going to go to map white and then keyframe it at the beginning, keyframe it at the middle. If I just click U, it should show me, there we go, my keyframe for my tint, and then keyframe it at the end. In the middle, I'm actually going to have it go white. So now, as time goes on, it goes from this yellow to white, so we can actually read it, and then back to the yellow so that it kind of looks good again. One more thing is we want to duplicate this, and maybe we want more than one. So all we're going to do is click U to hide all these because it's getting kind of confusing. Let's just name this like logo 1. Okay, good enough. Control D. And then Control D once more. So for the second logo we made, we're going to go to click U again, and wherever our middle keyframe was for it, we're just actually going to move it down. Okay. And then same thing for the logo 3. We're just going to move it up while it's in the middle position. So now it looks like at the beginning, there's one logo, but then it splits off into 3. And then the top one goes to its top position. The bottom one goes to its bottom position. And boom. And then they're all going to go back into 1. That's self-preference if you want to do that. But then you could have it so like your top one is doing something completely different than like, your bottom one. If you really want to get into that stuff. And bam. Now, one last thing, if you want to be picture perfect, okay, at least in my case, okay, you can't notice it too much because I feathered it. But sometimes you can notice like the fill. So what I actually ended up doing in my one animation is I just added like a smoke overlay. So I'm just going to put it to the top, and I'm just going to drag it somewhere where most of the smoke is covering up the screen. Somewhere like, sure, like right here. Okay. Bam. I'm going to cut the front, cut the end. This is something that only I had to do because of the smoke. But maybe someone, oh, hiccups. Maybe someone else out there has to do it too. Okay, and then I'm just going to rotate it like so. Place it where kind of I think the size of my mask would be. Something like this. Maybe it a little bit bigger. And then I want the black to go away. So I'm just going to search up keys and put in a Luma key because there's a black background. And what that should do is when I click threshold, it should start getting rid of the black background. So I just want to get rid of it a little bit. And I want to turn down the opacity by clicking T. Just turn it down a little. Actually, we're going to keep it up for now because I want to add the tint effect that we used last time, because now I want to turn everything that's white into this color right here. Okay, which is kind of like the color of the smoke going in. And then if we want to bring down the opacity, I might even bring down bring up the threshold so we see less black. Just something like that. And then if I just move kind of this in front of, there we go, just like just in front of the whole mask. So this way, the reason I added this is to hide that mask, because now there's smoke in front of that mask and you really can't see it. Honestly, actually what you want to do is just drag it underneath your logo fills, like so it's not over my logos coming up. but it's underneath my fill right here. Here we go. So now we have the video, and then that actually does not look too good. I would probably, it's just because the smoke overlay I chose, but you guys kind of get what I meant. Here we have the video, I go in, the smoke starts to pop off, and then it slowly turns white, it rotates, and then it goes back down, bam. And now, as you can see, this where my fill used to be, it's not as noticeable anymore because we have this giant smoke covering it. Like I said, that was specifically basically just for me, but is what it is. So now if we play it back, guys. So that's how you do that, guys. Like, it was honestly pretty simple. If this has helped you, make sure to subscribe because that gives me motivation to make more tutorials.